us with this afternoon. We came to this country as the third wave of Muslims, and we tried to fulfill what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has promised those who do hijrah in His way. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Surah Nisa, chapter 4, verse 100. Allah promises those who immigrate in His way. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, وَمَنْ يُهَاجِرْ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. And those who do hijrah in the way of Allah, what do they find? Number one, يَجِدْ فِي الْأَرْضِ مُرَاغَمًا كَثِيرًا وَسَعًا. They will find on this earth so many opportunities, so many resources that are vast for those who seek it, those who do hijrah fi sabilillah. And for the young men and women here this afternoon, if you don't believe it, ask your parents who are 60 and 70 years old how much money they came to this country with, and you will know. Most of us came with next to nothing, essentially. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has been kind enough to us so we can build all of these masajid and all of these schools and all of these institutions that we thank Him Almighty for. Number one, رَاغَمًا كَثِيرًا وَسَعًا. And then, وَمَنْ يَخْرُجْ مِنْ بَيْتِهِ مُهَاجِرًا إِلَى اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ ثُمَّ يُدْرِكْهُ الْمَوْتُ فَقَدْ وَقَعَ أَجْرُهُ عَلَى اللَّهِ. And the second promise is, if you do hijrah in the way of Allah and His Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and you die as a shaheed. Your ajr is on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I want to congratulate every one of you, even those who came to America to seek economic future, because you have chosen to strengthen it and deepen it with the commitment to La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasul. And we came to this country and we built masajid and Islamic schools and we did dawah. And I want to touch base on two revisions. The first revision has to do with the Islamic centers. And alhamdulillah, you go to any city in America, it has at least one Islamic center. Some of it are very well equipped, like this masjid, which will grow and become bigger, alhamdulillah. But here is one revision I want to share with you. That unfortunately, the Islamic centers are underutilized. The Islamic centers are only used on Friday for a maximum of 2 hours, and after that you spend all of this money, all of these resources on empty shells. And that's not the masjid at the time of the Prophet ﷺ. So this is one reminder for the young generation who are here this afternoon. Please take advantage of the facilities, the gift that Allah has given to each and every one of us, all over the United States and Canada. The second revision has to do with schools. When we came to this country from any of the Muslim countries, be it Arabic speaking, Urdu speaking, Hindi speaking, Bengali speaking, Africa, we were exposed to one model of schooling. And that was the schooling system that guaranteed its graduates the best position and the best university. And that school system is called the Catholic school system. You ask a brother from India, or from Egypt, or from Syria, from Pakistan, and you tell him, where did your parents send you to school? And he will tell you that it was a missionary school, mostly a Catholic school. So we wanted to emulate this example. So we built the Islamic school system. which is a wonderful goal and a wonderful experience. But we did not know that running an Islamic school is an expensive undertaking, because it costs a lot of money to appoint teachers, take care of the facilities and maintenance and so on and so forth. So the Islamic schools really became schools for the rich and affluent. I know Islamic schools that charge $500 a month per child, and other Islamic schools that charge up to $1,200 a month per child. So it became an exclusive school for a few families that can afford taking their kids to Islamic schools. And that's my second revision that I want to share with you so we can take another look at. Let me tell you a secret why Catholic schools are successful. I once was at a grocery store and I found 4 nuns doing shopping. And I asked them, what do you do? They said, we are teachers in the Catholic school next door. I asked them, how much money do you make? This is a true story of my life. $5 a day. The name of the game is volunteerism. What keeps the Catholic school system going and costs down is volunteerism, people who are willing to volunteer. But then I want to share with you another example of the Mormon school system, the most active church in America that is attracting a lot of followers nowadays, not only in America but internationally, is the Mormon church. They have done away with doing Mormon Islamic schools, Mormon schools. So we asked them, what do you do? They said, we asked our community members to live in good neighborhoods that have good school systems, to benefit from the school system. But then, as a church, we sandwich the public school system with a meeting in the morning before the school and a meeting in the afternoon after the school, where we teach our values and their Bible to the children. And this is something that we need to consider, that in every location we have a school system that is designed this way. Not to do the full-time schooling, but to do the value-added schooling of what Islam is teaching. And I'm proposing this to brothers and sisters in Plano because you still don't have a school. So you don't need to emulate what was done, and you can borrow from what happened. But then the important message I want to share with you today is one thing that we have forgotten, especially after 9/11. I remember, my dear brothers and sisters, I'm 70 years old, and I've been serving for about 50 years throughout the United States and Canada. And I remember until 9/11, I wouldn't go to a Jummah prayer in any city without a family standing up here giving shahada. Is that true? Every time after Jummah, at least one family giving shahada. How many do you see these days? How many? Nobody. And I think we need to focus again on the reason we are here in America. We are here in America because Allah has chosen each and every one of us to come to America and bring La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah to America. Please never forget this. Please never take your eyes off this most important goal, and that's inviting people to Islam. And I say this because we invested very small effort in 1972. 2 people invested a small effort in something that's very big today. It's called the Dawah in the prisons. 2 people, one from here and one from Houston. I had the honor of being one of those. I lived in Dallas since '71. And we used to go to a jail system called the Huntsville prison, Huntsville jail, on Highway 45. And we invested some effort that became huge, and a large number of the graduates of prison schools in Islam became teachers and wonderful leaders in the community. I want to propose to the young men and women here this afternoon to take it upon themselves not to go to jail, but to go to your neighborhood, go to your schools, invite your friends to come to Islam. And don't ever get stopped by age. I have seen young men at the age of 14 coming and saying, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. Go to your professors on campus. Go to your friends at work and tell them, come home. Come to La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. I know, in the beginning you will see a lot of no's. You will be faced with a lot of challenges. But inshallah, with this challenge being eased by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will achieve the goal we are all here for. And that is to propagate La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. After I gave this khutbah in one of the Masjid, a group of those who attended Jummah asked me, Brother Yahya, how do you do da'wah? And that was revealing in itself, because apparently we have not been doing much da'wah these days. Because the biggest thing we do nowadays is we have a masjid open house. What's a masjid open house? We open up the doors to the masjid. No non-Muslim can come and look at us as if we are pieces of artifacts in a museum, which is good. That's a good effort. We want people to come to the masjid, to listen to the Quran, to know how we deal with each other. So how do you do da'wah? And here is what I want to share with you. Now, we should realize one important fact. Our competition is not with Judaism. Our competition is not with Hinduism. Our competition is not with Buddhism. Our competition is with Christianity. Because the only two open religious systems in the world that are open to those who are invited to it are Islam and Christianity. If you don't believe me, when was the last time the Jewish temple sent people to ask you to become a Jew? Did anybody have this experience? Or a Hindu to come and invite you to become a Hindu? The competition is between Judaism, between Christianity and Islam. The second fact, and I'm very sorry to say this, to disappoint you, but the 21st century is shaping to be the golden century for Christianity. And we should prepare, I hope, for what will be the golden century for Islam in the 22nd century or before, depending on how much effort we are going to invest in that goal of da'wah. The first question I need to ask myself about da'wah is, do I really believe in this religion called Islam? And if I believe in this religion called Islam, how did it change me? What did Islam do to me to make me a magnet to attract people to me? I don't have an answer. The answer is very individual to each and every one of us, because my answer will be different from your answer. But this is a very important question that you need to answer to yourself, looking at yourself in the mirror. Because without answering this, we'll never be able to attract people and do da'wah fi sabilillah. The question is what I believe in manifested in my behavior, my dreams, the way my family lives and interacts, and to my contributions to the community? And then how we can attract people to my religion, Islam? Well, a typical answer is to become a role model. Am I a role model to attract non-Muslims before Muslims to Islam? That's a question that we need to answer. The second is, offer sincere help to everybody without asking for return or gratification. I'll give you some examples, personal examples, from people who do da'wah very efficiently. A very dear friend of mine from Turkey, he came to America with his American wife, who used to teach in Turkey, who accepted Islam, but of course very shaky yet, did not learn the foundation of Islam. Lived in an apartment, and her husband was busy. Her kids were giving her a difficult time, and her next door neighbor was a devout Mormon family. And I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, they loved them to death. I mean loved them to death. She wants to go and do something, they babysat for the children. They want to do grocery shopping, they did grocery shopping. They want furniture, they got them furniture. So much love with nothing to ask for. Until 1 year later, this young lady asked them, "What's your religion?" They said, "We're Mormons." She said, "Can I come with you to church?" And this lady went to church, and today her 2 children, I wouldn't mention their names because they are Muslim names, live in Arizona, and they go to the Mormon church as Christian Mormons. Question is, do we offer unconditional love to our neighbors, regardless if they are Muslims or non-Muslims? Do we do the best we can to hold hands and touch people's hearts? I don't have the answer. The answer is with each and every one of us, because we are different. The second is financial assistance. Now, every year we have 2 big fundraisers in every masjid. We raise $1 million, $2 million for the masjid. And we raise zakat. And we know makharij zakat are 8. You spend the zakat in 8 outlets. One of them is called al-mu'allafatu qulubuhum. One of them is for people that you want to attract to Islam or support so they can benefit from you as a Muslim. Fi sabilillah, mu'allafatu qulubuhum. Now, I once in my travels was in Kazakhstan. And I met this young student, her name is Khadija, wearing a cross. Wallahi, a true story. So I said, "Khadija and the cross? Doesn't match." She said, "No, it matches." Her story is, she was a student in high school, and she met this church-going American couple, and they offered her everything she needed. Scholarship to come to America and get her undergraduate degree. First, to learn English, and then undergraduate degree. Who was she? The grandchild of the Mufti of Kazakhstan. The question is, are we investing money and time and effort and dedication for doing da'wah this way? Contributions to the community and to the society. Are we doing contributions to the community and to the society? Are we doing networking so we can benefit each other, so we can say, "Oh, going to the masjid in Plano has helped my business grow 5 times. So your potential Muslim who didn't say, I want to be a Muslim, will say, this is a community that stands together, support each other, business-wise, family-wise, and spiritual-wise. I'm going to join them. Are we doing this? Are we looking for my brother who is doing insurance agency so I can give him the business before I go outside the community? Are we doing this? I'll give you examples. In city of Saddleback, California, there is a huge church. The goers are about 25 to 30,000 people, headed by Rick Warren. 25,000. You know, when we have a masjid that takes 3,000 people for Jummah, we say, MashaAllah, we have a big masjid. 25,000 interacting with each other, networking. And people, well, Joel Osteen in Houston, Texas. I'm sure you all know Joel Osteen, right? If I go to a church and I say, if you know Yahia Abdul Rahman, I say, who's this Yahia Abdul Rahman? But you all know Joel Osteen. Because his da'wah does not only stop in the church, it transcends further to the outside world. We need to network, we need to work with each other. We need to create an added value of coming to the mission. And then, the responsibility of the masjid and its pivotal role as a foundation of growth. I used to travel to Kazakhstan because we had an Islamic bank in Central Asia. And it was not a very popular place to go to after the break of the Soviet Union. So I had to go to Istanbul, take the Turkish Airlines flight to Almaty, Kazakhstan. Half of the flight was full of people from America. Wallahi, a true story. So I got to speak to them, you know, what takes you to Central Asia? They said, oh, we belong to the West Covina, California church, evangelical church. And we go there because we want to invite these people to the Word of God. Today, in a small country called Kyrgyzstan that was chosen as the center for propagating evangelism, thousands of Central Asian Muslims are being converted into Christianity. Not only this, but any place there is havoc, turmoil, there is active da'wah to Christianity because they call it the glad tidings. In Arabic, I don't know if you know this or not, I think it's the same in Urdu. They're like حملات التبشير, not حملات التكفير. حملات التبشير, the missions of good news. Can you believe? In Egypt, 4 weeks ago, there was a ceremony given by the pastor of Qasr al-Dubara Church. A few steps from the National Assembly, he said, and I have him on tape, that in the past 9 months, 500,000 Egyptian Muslims converted to Christianity. If you don't believe me, ask the brothers and sisters in Waziristan and how many thousands of Muslims are being converted to Christianity. Ask the brothers and sisters in Bangladesh and how many are converted into Christianity. And then finally, the long-term vision. Do we have a long-term vision? Do we have a vision of America where 20% of Americans, 40% of Americans say, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah? Do we have that vision? If we don't, we need to look into it. I'll tell you my last example. When I was a young man in 1968, before coming to America, I took a group of students from Cairo University to Sudan. And we went all the way to the far south of Sudan, in a place called Bahr al-Ghazal, at the borders of Uganda, where people were very primitive, wearing nothing, except one man, true story, wallah. And that one man was wearing a suit in the heat of the summer, it was Ramadan, suit, a tie, and frames of glasses without the lenses, and a book in his hand. I said, what's your name? He said, my name is John. I said, what do you do? I said, I'm the pastor of the village. I said, pastor of the village? Do you have a church here? He said, no, we're building a church. We want to take the children and make them believers in Jesus Christ. I said, good for you. At the night, it was Ramadan, we were invited to iftar at the governor of the region of Kasana. where this place was. I said, General Yahya, his name was Yahya, there is a Christian missionary activity here. He laughed, he said, Yahya, get out of here. These people don't even know how to speak Arabic or English. It will never happen. That was in 1968. Today, the newest country in the world is called Southern Sudan. And that's the exact region that they planned for 50 years ago. Do we have a plan? أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم إنه نعم ونعم الحسين. الحمد لله الحمد لله الرحمن الرحيم الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. الحمد لله غافر الذنوب جميعها إلا الشرك به، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وعلى صحبه وعلى التابعين. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reveals in the Holy Quran, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ قَوْلًا مِمَّنْ دَعَا إِلَى اللَّهِ وَعَمِلَ صَالِحًا وَقَالَ إِنَّنِي مِنَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. And who of you can say the best of all speeches is to say, I am from the Muslims, I'm going to invite people to Islam, I'm going to participate actively in Dawah, inshallah. And the outcome will be the promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وَمَنْ وَعَدَ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مِنْكُمْ وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ لَيَسْتَخْلِفَنَّهُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ كَمَا اسْتَخْلَفَ الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ. Allah promises you, those who do the good deeds and those who believe, that He will inshallah produce generations after you that will be better than you, that will be more committed. لَيَسْتَخْلِفَنَّهُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ كَمَا اسْتَخْلَفَ الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ. What else? وَلَيُمَكِّنَنَّ لَهُمْ دِينَهُمُ الَّذِي ارْتَضَى لَهُمْ. And He will inshallah establish, put the deep roots of their deen that was accepted for them to follow and to commit themselves to. وَلَيُبَدِّلَنَّهُمْ مِنْ بَعْدِ خَوْفِهِمْ أَمْنًا. And He will change their state of fear and shaky feeling of not being sure will be replaced with the soothing peace of heart and peace of mind. آمين ثم آمين يا رب العالمين. اللهم إني داعي إلى اللهم اجمع قلوبنا على محبتك